Hi everyone. Continuing the previous class where I had discussed the verbs, today I am going to deal with non-finite verbs. Yesterday, in my previous class, I dealt with finite verbs, but today I am going to deal with non-finite verbs. Before going to this non-finite verb, let me summarize what a verb is, what are its different divisions. So, a word that shows an action, state or position or predicates a fact is called verb. Its kinds are mainly two kinds: principal or main verb and auxiliary or helping verbs. This principal verb is divided into two parts, that is finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are transitive, can be divided into four parts, that is transitive, intransitive, defective, incomplete. These all finite verbs I had dealt yesterday, that is in my previous class. Today I am going to deal with non-finite verbs. These non-finite verbs have three divisions. They can be classified into three classes, that is infinitive, gerund, participle. What is infinitive? Infinitives are the root verbs. According to use, infinitive can be classified into two classes, that is present infinitive and perfect infinitive. For example, for present infinitive, to write, I want to write. Here to write is present infinitive. Perfect infinitive is to have written. I want it to have written. That is perfect infinitive. According to appearance, both present and perfect infinitives, they can be divided into two classes, that is bare infinitive and to infinitive. Bare infinitive means it is without to. Here to is not used. To plus present form of verb is infinitive, no doubt, but in bare infinitives we never use to with them. For example, do, does, did, can, shall, will, may, need, must, dare, make, bid, feel, hear, see, watch, let, etc. These are all bare infinitives. And two infinitives are, that means two plus present form of verb, root verb. To infinitive is preceded by that is, it expresses desire when it expresses desire or goodliness. Suppose want, love, like, hope, hate, feel, promise, etc. Propose, decide, learn, remember, forget, agree, consent, refuse, fail, hesitate, prepare, care, pretend, etc. Then the another one is transitive verb followed by an object with to, that is to plus to infinitive, that is ask. Here in these cases we can use to here also and here also. We can use to with them. Ask, advise, allow, beg, compel, encourage, force, instruct, then invite, order, permit, persuade, request, teach, warn. All these verbs, they are considered to be two infinitives. Then gerund. What is a gerund? That is verb in ing used as noun is called a gerund. A verb used in ing a verb in ing used as a noun is called gerund. It is also called verbal noun or gerund. It is used as subject. Sleeping is necessary to health. Here sleeping, it is verb plus ing, but it is being used as subject to is, necessary to health. Then as it is also used as object, I enjoy reading books. Here reading is noun, read is verb in ing form, but it is being used as noun and it acts as an object. Then complement, seeing is believing. That means believing, this term believing completes the sense of the sentence, seeing is believing. Then object of a preposition, it also acts as an object of a preposition. For example, she is fond of dancing. This dancing, dance is verb in ing form, but it is acting as gerund, that is noun form, and before that of has been used, preposition has been used. That's why it is acting for object of a acting as object of a preposition. Then comes participle. Participles, verb in ing or ed formed, used as an adjective, are called participles. Verbs either in ing or ed form doing the work of an adjective is called participle. That means it can also be called verbal adjective. For example, it is used as attributive adjective, that is, a burnt child dreads the fire. A burnt, B-U-R-N-T, burnt. Here past form of burn has been used. That means it is acting as verbal adjective. It is acting as adjective. That's why it is called attributive adjective. Second one is to complete the sentence. Sometimes participles are also used to complete the sentence. For example, the boy seems contented. The boy seems contented. Here this contented, content, C-O-N-T-E-N-T, content is verb, but contented here has been used as verbal adjective. Then third one is with a noun or pronoun going before. For example, the weather being hot, I did not go out. The weather being hot, I did not go out. Here two sentences are being used, being. Okay. Next is division of participles. Participle can be divided into three classes, that is present participle, past participle, perfect participle. According to tense as we use, for example, present participle. I can hear her singing a song. I can, that means here the tense is present tense, so here singing has been used as verbal adjective in present participle case. Past participle. We saw the tree laden with fruit. Laden is past tense, and so this sentence, we saw the tree laden with fruits. In here, if we see here saw, if we make it see also, that is also right. We see the trees laden with fruits, and this is also included in past participle form. Next is perfect participle. The sun having risen, the birds began to sing. Perfect participle. In perfect tense we use has, have, had. So here also the sun having risen. The sun has already risen, and after that the birds began to sing. In this way, we can use participle in the way of as adjectives are used, that is in verbal adjectives. Some of the examples now, some of the students asked me questions regarding transitive and intransitive verb. That one also let me discuss. As we all know, transitive verbs are those verbs which expresses an action that passes on object. That means which noun or pronoun which suffers by the object. What is an object here? It is noun or pronoun on which the action is passed or which is effected by the action of the subject. These are generally person, noun or pronoun. These are generally the answers of what, which is direct object. When we get the answer of what, it becomes direct object, and when we get the answer of whom, it becomes indirect object. Suppose I say, my father gave me 100 rupee note. What did my father give? 100 rupee note. So this 100 rupee note is direct object. Whom did my father give 10 rupee note? Me. That means here it is indirect object. Next is on the basis of conjugation, verbs can be classified. This was also another question asked by my children. How can we change verb, or how can we find out which one verb is what type? So on the basis of conjugation, verbs can be classified into two groups: strong verb and weak verb. Strong verbs are those verbs which are formed by changing an inside vowel. The verbs which are changed by changing inside vowels, the verbs which are formed by changing inside vowels, they are strong verbs, and the verbs which are formed by addition of suffix d, ed, t, etc., these are called weak verbs. Again, one more question was there regarding helping verbs. Some of the students asked whether can, could, may, might, must, need, used, will, would, shall, should, ought, dare, need, etc. are modals or helping verbs. To those students, I would like to say modals are included in auxiliary or helping verb itself. That means all these verbs, they help the main verb in formation of tense, voice or mood. So they are considered as helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. Thank you. In my next tomorrow in my next class I shall be dealing with different types of adjectives. Thank you.